wishing you a summer here again. How are you, my internet family, and welcome back for another Q&A. So my last one went down really well, and I was like, I like sitting down and talking to you guys and letting you get to know me a bit more. So that's what we're gonna do. I asked you loads more questions on Twitter and I got so many. So you may need a snack and or a cup of coffee and or a blanket for this video. First thing is, I'm not wearing my denture in this video, so if I do happen to laugh with a big open mouth and you see that there's a tooth here kind of gone, bear with me, because I feel like when I wear it I talk a bit funny and I get really self-conscious about that. You might notice my hair is a little bit shorter again, and that wasn't intentional, but I actually do love it. I went in asking for a trim and she got rid of like 3-4 inches, you know, just typical hairdresser shite where they're like, you know, you're putting all your trust in me with your money and, you know, your inches of hair, and I'm just going to do what I want to it. But no, I am delighted because I would never have chosen to go this short, but it's really easy to look after and it's bouncy.
Let us begin this installment of Ask Melanie.
Laura asked me, would I rather spend a week with Freddie Mercury from Queen or David Bowie, and why? If you guys have followed me for a long time, you'll know that I am really into kind of older rock music and stuff. Those two guys are my heroes and I grew up with huge crushes on them, but they're also both bisexual. I would choose Freddie Mercury because we wouldn't get out of bed for a week. Freddie Mercury's silky, beautiful voice is one of my favorite things in this entire world, and I want to talk a little bit about bisexual erasure here, right? Because I was always told growing up, tell me if I'm not the only one, but I was always told that Freddie Mercury was gay by everyone because he had AIDS, and I didn't know he was bisexual until someone tweeted something at me. They were like, no, he was bi. And I looked it up and he was bi. And the love of his life was this woman he was with for 7 years. And I know it probably doesn't seem like a big deal or whatever, but this is a perfect example of what bisexual erasure is. I get asked a lot about bisexual erasure because I do talk about sexuality in my videos quite a lot. And it basically means when people assume that bisexuality doesn't exist, that you either like men or you like women, and that's it. This happens to girls and guys and non-binary people all the time. People telling them what their sexuality is, and masses of people just assuming that because Freddie Mercury could have sexual relations with men, that he couldn't possibly be into girls and women as well, and that he lied. There was all these rumors that he lied in the songs that he wrote about girls and women. Like, he wrote a song called Fat Bottom Girls, and I just love it. This just made me so sad. Like, you choose yourself how to identify. You don't need to have a label, but if you do want to have a label, Freddie himself said he liked men and women, yet other people were choosing to categorize him based on how they believe that he is and acts, and you decide that for yourself. And if other people don't believe you, that's their problem, but it's also a big problem because for people to go around kind of spreading that, and you know, parents will spread that then onto their kids, and it's just this loop, and bisexuals just continue to be invisible, and I hate it so much. With girls, you know, some people will be like, no, you're just a lesbian, or they will say that you're saying you're bisexual for attention. It makes me want to break stuff. Summer asked me, do I like dark chocolate? Girl, where have you been? Where have you been? Watch my food diaries. I'd marry dark chocolate if it was a person. I would melt that shit and I'd bathe in it. But the thing with dark chocolate is as well, I hated it when I was younger. I feel like as I got older, my tongue or my taste buds kind of adapted to more bitter tastes. If you don't like it now, ease into it slowly. Like, don't go straight for 90% dark chocolate. Start off at like 60%, 70% and just slowly move away, and you're getting rid of a lot of kind of crappy quality dairy and sugar in your diet. Hannah said, what is the last picture you took on your phone and what are your favorite seasons in order? The last photo on my phone was this belly shot that I took for Instagram while I was editing my PMS party, and I ended up posting a huge body positivity rant underneath it. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, do. I post a lot on Instagram stories as well, which is sort of like daily vlogs sometimes, and they're so quick and easy to watch. I'm starting to really warm to Instagram stories, and I don't know if you guys prefer Snapchat or Instagram stories, so I kind of post on both. Then my seasons in order, I think I have to say winter is my favorite just because of Christmas, and like I love like when it's getting into Halloween time and Christmas every year so much, and I like when it's cold and dark. I know that's weird. And then second favorite would be autumn, and then I think summer is probably my least favorite, and I know that sounds so weird, but I like sunlight and warmth in bursts. So I like going on the odd holiday, things like that, but I don't know, I just despise feeling sweaty, and I have some kind of weird associations with summer, I think from childhood. I don't know what it is. Caroline Hope said, which names would you choose for your children if you had to decide right now? Oh my goodness. I know that I love unisex names, so I love names that you can call a boy or a girl and it works with both, like Alex. I love names like that, but I don't know, like I'm not going to pick names in advance. I don't think I'm going to have to like look at their face and analyze it, and then a name will slot into place the same way I did with my cats, because I don't know, I don't want to just call it a name if it doesn't feel right. I get this weird kind of gut instinct about naming things. Neve asked me what's my favourite Disney movie, and that is so cruel and it's such an impossible question. Something inside me is pulling me toward either Lion King or Aladdin. I used to just rewatch them so much, and I had a huge crush on Jasmine, you know, sexy Jasmine, when she's all like, oh Jafar. Leanna said, usually we learn from our mistakes, so why are we so afraid to make them? I think that the fear of making a mistake is, it makes sense, you know, because if you have a goal and a desired result, or you know, you want to be a certain type of person, and then you go against that in whatever way, or you do something that takes you away or further away from your goal, or, you know, if you hurt someone you love or whatever, it wasn't intended, and it's not kind of taking you to your place of bliss that you have in your head. So while mistakes are where all the learning happens and stuff, they're painful and they suck in the moment. So I think that's why, like, it just makes sense. Elijah said, what's your favorite shop bought healthy snacks? Still probably Naked bars. I just adore them so much, the cocoa orange ones especially. I also love making a bowl full of Greek yogurt and then raspberries and some nuts and broken up dark chocolate as well. It's just like, oh baby. Trist asked me if I could have one superpower, what would it be and why, and what's my biggest question for my followers? Ooh, I get to ask you something. If there was a superpower where you could just be extremely funny and make anyone laugh in any situation, I would take that one, because laughter is like the best. If I could ask you guys anything, I would really want to know, why do you watch my videos? Like, just try and summarize that in one sentence down in the comments. Vanessa asked me if I could only watch one movie on repeat for the rest of my life, what would I pick and why? Jesus, guys, I don't think you understand how into my movies I am. It's just, that's painful. I am going to pick a really weird film, and I'm going to say Braveheart, just because it's so epic and it has the most beautiful soundtrack in the world. Andrea said, I genuinely want to know what you think about Emma Watson, because she's an absolute role model for me. What I think about Emma Watson is that she should get engaged to me straight away, so we can start working on, you know, building a future together, figuring out where we're going to buy our house, you know, how we're going to go about having babies, you know, are we going to adopt them? Are we going to have a surrogate? Will we carry a baby each inside of our wombs and get some sperm from one of my really hot gay friends like Riyadh? Frida asked me what's the youngest / oldest I'd be willing to date. Oh my goodness. So dating is a bit of a weird subject for me at the moment, right? So I've been single for quite a while. I've had lots of time to reflect and think. I have my friends with benefits. I'm okay. But I do miss having a partner. Thing is, I am going on 28 this year. I am a lady with a ticking clock. I do want a family, so I find myself turning down dates with people a lot if I think that in the back of my mind that they're not like a long-term option. I love long-term relationships, and I definitely want another one. But yeah, so going back to the age thing, if someone is too young, I know that they're not going to want to settle down and stuff when I probably will in, like, I don't know, 5 years or whatever. So I have to take that into consideration, like, when I start seeing them, if they do or do not intend. Because, like, I do go through phases where I'm like, maybe I don't want kids, or maybe I don't need that, or I definitely have those phases. But then every time I think about it, I'm like, no, I do. I want the whole family thing. The age will probably be different for a boy and a girl as well, because a lot of men will wait until they're older to start a family, so it's kind of confusing. So with a boy, I'd say the oldest, I like older men as well, so I would go up to maybe 40, and youngest maybe, oh goodness, maybe 24, 25, like I think, and that's only if that they are kind of in the same headspace as I am. Otherwise it's just going to be a short-lived fun little times, which that's okay too. And then also with a girl, I'm very attracted to women in their 20s, so kind of I would go as young maybe as 21 with a girl, and then as old probably as 40 as well. Mina said, how do I flirt with ladies? The same way I flirt with boys. I'm not very good at it. I'm okay with it in person. Online I'm kind of suck with flirting. I just try and like make more contact. But I'm not good at first moves. I did a video about how to flirt with my friend Riyadh, which is just kind of like body language, you know, making eye contact and smiling and trying to find opportunities to maybe like brush off them and stuff. Chris said, do I get flack for living with my dad at 27? Ooh, this is an interesting question. A lot of you will know I did move out a couple of years ago into my first apartment with my ex, who I was with for 6 years, and only when we lived together kind of realised no. And when we broke up, I didn't like living on my own, so I intended to move to London because so many of my friends from YouTube and stuff are in London. And then what happened? Yeah, I started dating someone, moved in with them instead. That was a bad idea. And since then I've just been living at home, not knowing what to do. But guys, age is just a number. And also I love living with my dad. Like, I am going to buy a house with my dad, even if I'm only there half the time and I'm kind of half in London or half traveling or whatever I end up doing. I love my dad so much that I'm willing to get a mortgage with him because I want him around me all the time. I mean, it is a little bit hard because I can't just bring a load of people back here whenever I want, or, you know, but I don't get any shit from anyone about it. Like, if they do think anything weird about it, they haven't said it to me. But I know a lot of people live at home with their parents now up until they're around 30 and stuff. There was a huge boom in house prices. Like, houses are so expensive, and I know a lot of people of my generation aren't pairing up as easily as they used to back in the day. They would just get married and get a house. Great, banging, class. Stop!
Welcome to my neighbours who never stop doing fucking housework.
So I'm sorry if the lighting changed 2 hours past there because of that banging. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Adam asked me, where do I see myself in 10 years' time? What a loaded question. Where I would like to be, I would like to have a lovely house beside the beachside here in Skerries with a room overlooking the ocean, a kind of office library with loads of books and stuff, and a big wooden desk where I'm writing fantasy book series. I'll have lots of cats and a huge big white wolf dog called Albus, and my dad will live in the house, but also I'll have probably kids by then and a partner. Maybe I will have acted in a movie, or maybe I'll have written a script for a movie that will be made into a movie and like publish loads of stuff. I want to have set up a couple of other businesses, but yeah, family, like my whole future in my mind is just kind of family, loved ones, friends, holidays with friends, cool trips around the world, traveling lots. That's what I want. I constantly try and think about all that stuff so I attract it into my life. Chell asked me, what's one thing I can't go a day without doing? I cannot go a day without a long walk because it does so much for my mental health. Really resets me, and it's kind of my way of meditation. Also, masturbation. Binette said, would I ever dye my hair, or have I ever dyed my hair? Love from Canada. I have a whole video actually about my hair story, so I'll just pop that down in the description box if you'd like to watch that. I have dyed it several times, and I actually am at the point where I think I want to be a brunette forever. Maybe a redhead, or like, you know, I like auburn. It's kind of auburn right now, but I wouldn't go lighter again, I don't think. Never say never. Emily asked me what's my favourite things about being a YouTuber, and to be honest, I think all of the people I've met through it, so like, and you guys, having that connection, having like this way of self-therapy, it's really helped me become more confident as a person, and like, I just always feel like I have somewhere to go. I feel like our community is really becoming a solid community. You know, we've got like these little in-jokes and things that we all say to each other. I love going to conventions and meeting people and hanging out with other YouTubers that I watch and befriending them. And like, I just love making videos. It's such a nice, fun, creative outlet, and I'd be lost without it. Leia Jade said, tell us about your musical influences, such as favourite bands, singers or musicals, maybe film soundtracks too. I would be here all day. Love West End shows like Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera. Love really moving movie soundtracks, and let me know if you guys want me to make a playlist of all of my favourite soundtracks from movies, because there's too many to mention. And then with bands and singers, it depends really on my mood. So if I go out for a walk, I definitely listen to a lot of kind of just stuff that kind of gets me, like stuff I can visualize things to. I'll listen to Disclosure, Drake, Lana Del Rey, Sia, Ali X. I'll listen to a lot of 80s music. And then sometimes if I'm in a more chilled out mood, I love listening to Fleetwood Mac, the Beatles, the Beach Boys. Like, ABBA. I listen to a lot of weird old music. Anna said, am I religious or do I have my own beliefs? I'd like to know more about how you view the world. I don't consider myself religious, but I'm very spiritual, and one video will kind of summarize all of my thoughts on this. It's called, someone else edited together of Russell Brand, it's called The Awakened Man, I think. He explains how a lot of people use the word God to describe what other people use the word universe for, and how people, you know, you might do positive thinking and prayer is kind of the same thing, and he just goes into a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't believe there's someone sitting in the clouds, and I don't believe that when we die we go somewhere and all of the people that we loved are there in their physical selves. I think if everything is interconnected, and I know that when I die, the energy that makes me up will not go. It will just simply shift and change into something else. And I'm very at peace with that kind of stuff. Like I was raised Catholic, but I guess I just really don't like the institution of religion, and I'm very against how the Bible was edited throughout the years and whatnot. Peace and love, baby. Once you've got morals, it's okay by me. You can be atheist, agnostic, whatever you want to be. Raina said, how do you cope with travelling alone? My anxiety causes me to be paranoid and I want to get over that somewhat. I actually think I'm doing a whole video about this next week when I'm in London, like a video about travelling and my separation anxiety that I've felt since my dad's heart attack. Guys, it's been bad, like bad. I've left the house very little and I've been very reluctant to go away, even though in the past I would go away nearly every week to London or wherever, and like Sophie asked, is there anything I regret sharing with the internet? Certain relationship related stuff, but at the same time in the moment it felt right, and I wouldn't go back and change that. Nah, no regrets. There's no point. Sophie said, if I could live in any fictional world, which one would you pick? I would obviously pick the Harry Potter universe, because I should be a teacher in Hogwarts. Like, that's just where I'm supposed to be right now. Shauna said, if you were a Disney princess, who would you be and why? Ooh, I think I would be Belle. You know, relationship with the dad's quite close. She loves books. When I was younger, I liked to think I looked like Belle, even though I was definitely more of a Snow White in terms of the whole hair and skin tone. And also the way she learns to love the man within the beast. You know, I do try and see past the cover of people, and like the whole never judge a book by its cover thing is a huge part of how I choose to live my life. Potato Foreman said, what's your go-to order when you get a takeaway? I love Chinese food and just anything with satay sauce, like satay chicken, satay tofu, satay chips and rice. Just give me all of the satay sauce. Some Chineses do gross satay sauce though, so I have to like shop around. Mackenzie said, any fun books you're reading right now? I wouldn't call it fun, but I just finished this one by Niall Brezzy from The Blizzards, Me and My Mate Jeffrey. It's a fantastic read about his anxiety and depression, and having a young guy open up about this kind of stuff in Ireland, he's an Irish guy as well, is so important. He's actually inspired me to, him along with Thomas Sanders, the YouTuber, they both inspired me to like humanize my anxiety and treat it like a person. So I think I'm going to call my anxiety Mildred, or some awful woman's name. Like, can we vote down in the comments on a name to call my anxiety? And I'm just going to refer to my anxiety as that name from now on. Yeah, if you know any men who struggle with panic attacks or depression or anything like that, I recommend this book. Get it for them for a present. Also, it's the same publisher as the one who's publishing my book, which is, oh, did you see the photos I put on Instagram of like behind the scenes of the book cover shoot? I'm getting the book cover soon, guys. Charles Stacey said, how hungover are you today? I think he's referring to because it was St. Patrick's Day the day before I asked for these questions, I think. I was a little bit hungover, I have to say. But I did think I'd touch on alcohol. And I'm glad someone brought up the topic of alcohol in this Q&A, because, guys, the last sister I did with my video got a lot of views. And initially when I put it up, there was several people kind of complaining about the fact that we were drinking in the video. I had one glass of wine in that video. I've always shared with you guys that I enjoy alcohol in moderation, and not just because I'm Irish. Like, that's a horrible, damaging stereotype. I just like the odd bit of alcohol. But in saying that, I definitely acknowledge that Ireland, the youth of Ireland, do have a problem with binge drinking statistically, and many other countries around the world do as well. And I know alcoholism is a massive problem. I know a lot of alcoholics. I'm related to alcoholics. I have friends who are alcoholics, but I'm not addicted to alcohol, and I don't appreciate comments insinuating things. I know there's been a lot of dialogue on alcohol recently from YouTubers like Lucy Moon and Dodie, and like loads of people within the UK community have been kind of touching on this. But I think it's really important to show and represent healthy consumption. I really do. Like, having the odd glass of wine with your dinner is perfectly fine and healthy once you're not relying on alcohol, once, you know, you can stop after a couple of drinks, or and even if you do binge drink the odd time, like I will get drunk at the odd party like every few months, but I can go a long time without getting drunk once it's not having a negative effect on your life. You know, because there is studies even to show a little red wine a day is good for your health. But when I was a teenager, I struggled hugely with alcohol, binge drinking. I would go out on a night out and drink like 13-14 bottles of Smirnoff Ice, you know, those, or Wicked, or whatever, those, all those horrible alco pop drinks. I used to binge drink, and I've had terrible experiences with alcohol as a teenager. So I know that for some people it's like, I don't know, should I do a whole video on this? Let me know. Current me, existing me, just simply wants to show that alcohol can be enjoyed safely, and I also don't want to completely curate, like I don't want to like lie to you guys. I don't want to present an image of a version of me that isn't me. That's why I leave in the odd swear in my videos. That's why I talk about a lot of different aspects of me and my personality and stuff. Because that's just what I choose to do. I'm all about being real and being myself on the internet, because this is my online space. But do let me know if you want a whole video on that. God, I'm going off on a tangent. I need to end this video. It's too long. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Will I do these every month? Let me know. And I will be back very soon with another video. I'm just about to go to London as well tomorrow for lots of collabs. Yeah, there's plenty of fun stuff coming to this channel, and I just want to thank all my new subscribers, because the channel's blossoming like a flower. Right, I'm done. Farewell, my loves.